Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. So first of all, I just want to apologise for the terrible lighting situation. I would not dream usually of filming with a light coming from behind me. It's the worst mistake you could make. But I have nowhere else to film at the moment. I've taken my studio down that I usually make videos from, that the channel usually kind of runs from. And the reason I've done that is because I'm moving into another studio at the other side of the house that is going to be built in about a week or so. It's going to start the building work. I'm going to vlog it all so I can show you guys how the studio's coming on. Tell you what's in it and what's being done and the work and everything. I thought that might be an interesting vlog for you guys. But yeah, first of all, I just wanted to talk about this amp here. So this is a Peavey 6505 Plus and an Engl 412 vintage cab. First of all, let's talk about the head. So the reason this thing flagged up for me is that I've been looking out for a Peavey 6505 Plus for probably about a year and a half. I've bided my time. I've wanted one for a bargain price just because that's the way I am. I used to own one of these and I gigged with it for about 3 years. Absolutely loved it. Definitely one of my favourite live heads ever. You know, it's so aggressive, so angry, so many mids, so loud, you know. It's just a fantastic head and that's why it's on so many records. For me, the 6505 Plus is the best Peavey that's ever been made. It's my favourite. It just seems a bit angrier to me, a bit darker, a bit more aggressive than all the other Peaveys, but I absolutely loved that head, and when I sold it, I regretted it almost straight away. The reason I sold the head was because I had a serious back problem. I was downsizing my rig, I moved to EVH, started using the EVH mini heads, and it did definitely save my back. This thing weighs a ton, and when you're carrying this in one hand and a case in the other and your back's all wonky and stuff, you know, it's not great for your body. So yeah, it was a good move at the time, but didn't take long before I regretted selling that head. I used to use a lead channel on this head and I put a Maxon 808 on the floor in front of it, a noise gate decimator, noise gate in there, ISP decimator, and everything was great. The tone is there. So the story goes that because I've been watching out for these heads for quite a while, obviously the internet knows what you're looking for, you know, it doesn't matter what marketing site you're on trying to buy stuff, you know, it lights up, it lets you know. And this thing came up on actually Facebook Marketplace, funnily enough, which is one that I rarely use out of them all. And at first I thought it was just for the cab. Okay, it came up at £550, and I thought, oh, that's for the Engl cab. The Engl was listed first. It wasn't spelled right, I don't think, but the Engl cab was listed first, and then the Peavey was on the end as like an afterthought. And I thought, that's not really for the Peavey head, it can't be. So I looked at it, I looked through a description, flicked across pictures, and I realised pretty quickly that that was for the whole rig. Obviously you guys know that that is like an absolute complete mega bargain. First thing I wanted to check out was which Engl cab this was. This is actually the Engl 412 vintage cab. Now these go for about £300, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less, depends on the condition, on Marketplace, eBay or wherever. Obviously when I'm looking at a full rig for £550, that basically means that I'm getting the Peavey for like £250, which is just absolutely crazy. So still a bargain, but I wanted to check out this amp and make sure that it had the V30s in, which it does. The guy that was selling it was somebody's dad. His son had left this rig at his house for quite a while. He was moving house and he said, I just need rid of it, you know. And I said, right, well, I can pick this thing up straight away. I wanted to know all the ins and outs. He said his son's never replaced the speakers, there's still vintage 30s in there. For those of you that don't know this, the Engl 412 vintage cab is an absolute bargain for £300 because all it is really is an Engl Pro cab. They renamed the cab, they put a black grille on it, that's all they did, and those go for about £800 new now, so half of that, you know, £400. These are going for £300. May as well pick one up. Absolutely fantastic cabs, love them. Super tight, a touch smaller than a regular Marshall bass cab. I think it's about a centimetre less deep and a centimetre less high. Could be wrong, but I think that's basically what it is. So I spoke to the guy. He said he's had the cab, his son's had the cab since new, it's still all original, he just wants rid of it. He's moving house, his son's moved out many moons ago and lives quite far away. He just wanted rid of the whole rig. I was like, fair enough. What condition is the head in? And he basically said, well, the head has a fault. He said last time his son played it, it didn't sound quite right to him, and when he's turned it on, his father, he said one of the tubes in the back is not lighting properly. Now, I don't know whether you guys know this or not, but sometimes you can catch tubes from different angles in the light and everything, and where you look at them, and it looks like they cannot be lit up. You have to really have a good look at them to make sure they're all lit properly, reflections and all of that. So I said, look, I'm a bit worried about this tube, because obviously if a power tube is out, then this could be like a faulty transformer or a really major fault. It might not just be a tube. And although this looks like a bargain for £550, if it's a transformer that is for some reason blowing tubes or anything else, then a new set of tubes, £160 minimum, a new transformer, £160 minimum, labour, probably 120 quid, you know, probably minimum as well if you're doing all that. So before you know what's going on, you've bust, you know, the rig's not a bargain anymore, and you've got the hassle of fixing it all and getting it up and running. So I was a bit concerned, a bit worried, and this guy said, look, I really need rid of it. I'm moving house. I can move it to my daughter's house for you, which is actually nearer to where you live. Go plug your guitar in and check it out. So I said, okay. So, you know, I went there in two minds, trying not to just buy it and scoop it up. And when I got there, it was his daughter that was kind of dealing with me, and I went into his daughter's house, beautiful house by the way, and she said, oh, my dad has found the flight case for the head in the attic, and he's thrown that in as well. Flight case is, you know, £180, £200. So I was like, this deal's getting pretty tasty now, it's getting really tempting. I don't really need the flight case, but it's still all money, you know, thrown in there for its worth. Obviously the rig has been heavily gigged, there's marks on it all over. It's not scruffy, it's not tatty looking for a well gigged rig, but it's not perfect, obviously, it is gigged. So I plugged in, turned the Peavey on. I actually messaged James Brown before I got to the location. James Brown obviously designed the whole 5150 amp series and everything. Works for EVH now, used to work for Peavey and Eddie. And James Brown basically said, if you light the amp up, find out which tube is not working, then pull that one and another tube and run it on 50 watts, you know, or 60 watts, whatever, or just off two tubes. Test the amp, and if it sounds fine that way, then everything is great. You have to switch it down to 4 ohms to be able to do that. So when I got there and I plugged this thing in and I turned it on, all the tubes just lit up, you know, and I was like, I'm wondering if the guy's dad that looked in the back at the tubes noticed one wasn't lit up, but maybe he was at the wrong angle or something. Maybe it wasn't, you know, they are sometimes hard to see, especially if you're looking through a grill. So I thought, this is amazing. If this works, then, you know, I'm taking it. So I plugged it in, I had my Charvel with me, my Charvel Sandemas, played a few chords, went through all 3 channels, turned it up, didn't play it too loud, obviously didn't want to blow the neighbours away, turned it up to about 4. It was a bit noisy, a bit crackly on the pots and everything like you expect from an old amp, but the thing worked and it sounded fantastic, like I always remembered it. So yeah, that's basically what happened. I then loaded this thing into my car. I paid my sister £550, couldn't be happy, put it in my car, got it home. Still a bit worried, you know, a couple of days later, obviously, with the work that I'm having done on the new studio. The house, you can hardly move in it. There's not really any way to even move in this house at the moment. I basically plugged it in, had a few goes on it, played it for about an hour, and no problems whatsoever. Like I say, sounded absolutely fantastic. So happy, absolute bargain, couldn't have wished for anything more. For this head alone, I was willing to pay like £450-ish. And that would be a bargain in my eyes, and that's what I was looking for like the last 12 months. And for like £550, I got an Engl cab thrown in. For my new studio, I was going to buy a 412 anyway. Don't know whether I was going to buy an Engl one, but I was definitely going to get one. And these cabs are great. I've tried them before many a times. I used to own a 212 Engl with V30s in. Absolutely fantastic cab. Loved it. I love the way it looks. I love the grille and everything. Needs a bit of a clean up. Probably take the grille off, clean around the speakers inside and everything, get it looking nice. But yeah, fantastic rig, and I just wanted to tell you guys, you know, the story behind the whole thing. You know, I could have quite easily not have gone and tried this amp out and just said, oh no, I'm not risking it, someone's saying there's something wrong with it, you know. But I did. I went and tried it out, and thank God that I did, because now I've got this amazing rig for the new studio. It's a head that I've been after a while. I can now do shootouts between the Peavey and the EVH again. I've done them before. So yeah, all good. Nice little story for you there. Let's check out the amp now. What I will say is, please do not judge me by this video. There will be a proper demo video of this where I will use IRs, use it in the mix, mic it up properly and everything. But for now, I'm just going to throw an SM57 down here in front of the Engl, so the quality is at least half decent for you guys. I'm going to chug around. Please subscribe, please click the bell. I can't wait for you guys to see the new studio. I can't wait to see it myself. Like I say, the 11th of April is when work starts on the new studio. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all soon.